Monday. Uh, we're getting somewhere. I mean, kinda. I have the cab pushed forward probably as far as I want to take it. Like literally, the AC is gonna be touching the dash, and that's just I don't really like that, but I have no other choice. Uh, and the firewall is literally like 4 inches in, man. It's deep. It's deep. Uh, Today we're gonna try to get it all straightened out left to right and height and everything to where I can start getting them floors welded in, get this front end bolted on. Then I can start making the supports for the front fenders, or the front clip support in the front, to where I can start making the radiator support and all that good gobbledygook. I still have to run like all the wires, everything, of course, everything's supposed to be done. But I had a good idea here. This is 1/4 inch round rod, 1/4 inch to 48 inch stick, smooth rod, cold rolled, and I'm going to use this to make an inside edge to mimic where the back of the bottom of the cab corners are. So that way, when I do weld on, after I cut this out, weld on a piece of sheet metal, I can do the necessary bends backwards and weld to the round rod to make the shape of the cab corner. I know it sounds super complicated, but this actually makes it easier than trying to, randomly figure out what can I use, because there's nothing that can be used on the other side. This stuff's got a little bit of strength to it on the passenger side, but I mean, you can see it's crunchy. I still haven't messed with any of the other rotten spots. The fenders still need to be lined up. I still ain't figured out what we're going to do with this thing yet. It's a mess over on this side. As far as the inside goes, I don't think anything in here, like above the windows and everything's still good. The back window around it's still good inside. But yeah, I got a lot of welding to do. All these dents gotta be popped out best possible. Again, we're not going to be like painting this thing or anything like that. But the guy does not want it to look like the former log truck it was. Yeah, so lots to do still, lots to do. Once I get the cab straightened out and where I can start welding it on though, it'll fly from there, because I can have this cab welded on and everything in about maybe 2 days if I'm killing it. 2 days for sure. And then everything from there starts going sheet metal work on the outside, filling that gap, attaching the vent right there, which used to be, I guess you'd call it the old school AC, because they didn't have it, on, excuse me, putting the hood on, radiator, blah, 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 blah. Also, if you see that stack of chrome over there, right there, those are 20s that are going to be going on here. Get out of here, you big stupid dog. But yeah, these are going on. We still got to get some tires put on them. They're pretty nice. I like them. 6-spoke. What are they? Panther things. Yeah, Panther wheels, but they're nice. They're pretty good shape. Dirty. They're going on. The bed's still out there, which I found out our bed is going to be about 2, maybe 3 inches forward, which means it's only going to give us a 2-inch gap here, which might be too much. We don't want to cut the frame and weld it for 2 inches, really. I mean, that just sucks. But we'll have to wait till we get the actual bed in here and on. before we can continue figuring out what we're going to do about that. Yeah, but let's get back at it. Now maybe this will help you understand what I'm talking about. I used the round rod to make the back edge of the rotten out part. Now, this one's on the front edge. Well, the back of the front, I guess how you would say it, the back of the front. This one's on, there's actually a step lip here that goes in then back out. And it would have been nice to put this right dead in the edge, but there's nothing left there. So that's just going to be when I come down and I bend it under, it's just going to have to weld back here. But that's about the best way I could think to get it, considering, as you can see, it's a nothing there. The piece that was there is this piece, and you can see it had like a bunch of different layers, but also it did have a rounded over lip, and basically that's what I'm gonna have to mimic back there, whereas this is rotted, you know. That actually was like right there just chilling. But yeah, that's all part of the game. Back windows out. And there's more rock to fix. Gone. It's about there. And then sides are good. I think this is the only bad spot on the bottom. Maybe that corner. Yep. The rest is good though, but some more rock to fix. Alright, so I'm going to help you guys with this patch panel. Now, of course, I added the round rod. Now, this wasn't here when I added it. I welded that extra on there to make this inner lip. But it would help to have done that beforehand so you can weld the round rod out here. Not a big deal. I can still work with it. But what you're going to do is you're going to want to measure, you know, from here to here. Now, this is going to be a straight edge no matter what. This you need to fold backwards. So it's going to go like that back. So mine was 12 by 8.5. So I cut out a 12 by 8.5 rectangle. Now, this is that 12 by 8.5 rectangle. And it goes just like that on there. Alright. But here's what you're going to want to do. Since I don't have an English wheel or planishing hammer, but I got the bend I need in it, and I don't have a slip roller, the best way you can do is start out by pushing it against the body to form it, to get, you know, your rough shape like it is. See how close I am already, but and that'll get you as close as you can get. Now mine was like here when I did form it because it still needed more, but to round this piece of steel, what I do is I use the tire, which is on the vehicle or any tire, and you lay it on there, and right here's your dead center. So you start at the front, and as you work it from the center, you're pushing it in. Bow, 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 bow. You're pushing the steel in, but staying in the center of the tire. So it's like this. And that becomes your planishing hammer, basically. Now, you can see my hammer marks as I went down through it. Stay in straight lines. And that will start to make it bend by itself. Alright. Now, once you have it to where it matches the body as close as it does like mine, then what you're going to do is you're going to tack it in. Alright, you're going to tack in the left side straight down. All right, when it starts to roll in, stop. Then start tacking your way across the top, bending it to where you need it as you go. Now mine's going to be a step, but it'll still bend out real nice. And tack this all the way back. Then as I said, I got to bend this lip a 90 on here to hook back in here. Now when you bend that 90 on there, it's going to cause you some problems. And what that is it'll be back behind, and it's also going to make this edge that you bend on your steel really, really, really hard. And what I mean by that is you're not going to be able to roll it backwards any. So I'll show you that next, once I get this all tacked to the point where I'm showing you I'm at now. Alright, so here's where you're going to be after you do your initial welding and stuff. So now, it's impossible for you to bend that under and make it into a rounded shape. So, what you're going to do is, it's pie cut time. And basically, what you got to do is find areas and slice down the middle. Now if you can, use big areas like that. If you can't, keep cutting in between each area, between here, 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 and here, until you can take them strips and bend them back under to where it mimics your edge here, which that has to be ground off, and this will have to be bent in and then mimicked also, and you'll have to pie cut this edge to get it to here. This edge right here will have to be pie cut this way to where you can fold that under. It's a bit of a big task, but it's not at the same time. Just try to follow, hopefully if you have a bottom of a door left, you can follow the bottom of the door or the door jamb that's left or anything. It's what you gotta do is you just gotta follow what's there, and if there's absolutely nothing there, then you basically gotta just try to figure it out. But surely there should be some edge of a door or something that you can follow the shape on. As you can see, it comes down and just breaks under. That's the same thing the rockers are going to do. I'm sorry, the cab corners. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut them, bend them in, and then what you do after you bend them is you'll start closest to your door, tack that to your door jamb all the way down, bend it, and then tack it to your steel rod behind there. And that'll keep it in place. And then you move down to the next one. And as you go, you follow your rod, and it'll make it go down and around, and it'll definitely start to bend shape. But you will have to, grind all your welds back and float it with some filler. Or if you can get back behind it, take your propane torch or whatever, heat up the metal, and from behind hammer it outward to where it rounds better. Other than that, find another cab and cut it off. But I'll show you what it looks like after I get done pie cutting as far as I need to, and bending it under and starting to weld it. Alright, now you can see it does look like a Billy Idol jacket right now with all the studs, but those aren't studs, those are just little pop welds. Tack welds, not pop welds, tack welds. But yep, it rounds right around that corner. Good, nice, even swoopage. Just got to finish off this part. But you can see you could hit that with like a 1/16 of an inch of filler, a real small amount, sand it out after you finish welding it all, be good to go. But that's basically how I make patch panels on things you cannot get patch panels for. But I'm gonna have a bunch of more I'm gonna have to make here. But yep, like doing that metal work. Just, you know, if we had slip rollers and everything, like I think I said on here, I'm not sure, but I could probably actually make them easily and then, you know, be done, welded on, be good. But yeah, a lot of metal work on this truck to do. Now you guys will get to see exactly what that looks like after it's been ground down. Turned out really nice. It's only gonna need a slight skim of filler. Everything will when you metal work it, unless you're like perfectionist. But I'll show it to you. She looks good. Considering that was all handmade. Sorry for the fans, but working in here. You can see the crapola I am working on now. That's all rotted out. Probably should have made one giant piece, but it would have been impossible to bend it all in one piece with what I have to use. These were rotted out on both corners. I've already fixed them. Those were easy. But these, you know, this is actually gone. There's a double lip. Let me see. Yeah, you can see right there. There's a double lip. It's gone. The other ones are fine, so I can weld to that. But this one's gone. I mean, there was a piece here, and every time I cleaned it up a little bit more, it would crumble. So, not only did that make it to where I had to get this bend down, this bend over, that bend up. But now, I made this. This is all bent by either a little double piece of angle iron thing we use to bend, the vise and a hammer with the torch, and then actually I used a lot of the frame right here to get a good edge in the tire to get the round bend again. And it's relatively good to go. I mean, you can see it's hard to do one hand here and film, but yeah, it's really close. But I'm gonna fit that in there, get that done. Then after those three are made, which right now that took about 6 hours to do, this is running close to like 2 hours now. Just that's even before any welding or anything. Oh, but we still have those two on this side, here and here. We have this to fix. We have that hole to fix. The other rocker has to be fixed. The door's got some dents and stuff that's got to be fixed on it, but the bottom, inside and out, are toast. This has to have something done to it. I don't know. It's a nightmare. All this rot up here still has to be addressed and fixed. I mean, the bucket's basically gone. Gotta do that just like I did this side. There's still some welding that has to be done over here. This is all going to get floated with a tiny skim of filler, which sucks. As you can see, which I didn't even see this yesterday, the boss man pointed out to me, there's a dent here. This is dented in, and that's what's keeping the bucket sticking out so far on the bottom. All of that has to be fixed. And the bottom of that door, inner and out, has to be done. Then all the metal work will be done as far as on the outside of the body that we can do, which I think there's this dent right here still has to be pulled out a little bit. You can't really see it. There you can. But other than after that, I can get the body welded into place onto the new floor, which still isn't done. And then we can get the front end on, radiator in, bed on, interior in, steering column, wiring. Still so much to do. This is taking up all the time, really. I said it's going to take about 2 weeks worth of metal work, and right now I'm on this whole week so far already. So by the end of next week, hopefully we should be done with all of the metal work and ready to start getting it lined out.